Hello, welcome to Global Matters. On this program, we'll bring you international issues to shape the world. Issues of global agenda that determine our national and common interests, especially our interests in Africa and indeed Nigeria. My name is Tony Alabi. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the program today. We wish you a very, very Merry Christmas celebration. On the program today, we're looking at the impact of COVID-19 on global economy in 2021. It is agreed by experts that COVID-19 has had massive impacts on the world generally. Every nation and every continent has tasted the bitter pudding of the pandemic. As of December 15, 2021, there have been about 278 million cases of coronavirus reported worldwide, with the United States confirming nearly 1/5 of all global cases. Also in 2021, the impact of COVID-19 and the global economic recessions have had enormous impacts on world food security. As of today, it is estimated that 100 million people have contracted the virus worldwide, and about 5.3 million people so far died from the disease. According to the International Monetary Fund, the global economy shrunk by 3.5% in 2020. This represents the deepest global recession since the Second World War. However, what is today still considered by many as primarily a health and economic crisis has now become a long-term development problem. Even the richest and most prepared countries have struggled through the pandemic. In the most vulnerable countries, millions of people have not had access to critical saving supplies such as test kits, face masks, and respirators. However, with COVID-19 vaccines, global economic recovery is expected to be faster, with almost 8.81 billion vaccine doses already administered worldwide as of December 15, 2021. Although rich countries have been accused of vaccine nationalization, hoarding it for their own people, conversely, Africans and indeed Nigerians have not shown very serious commitment, as the rate of apathy towards COVID-19 vaccination is extremely high in the continent. The economic impacts of COVID-19 are likely to lead to an enduring increase in global poverty and food insecurity. The World Bank estimates that COVID-19 has pushed an additional 88 to 115 million people into extreme poverty in 2020. According to the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 report, the pandemic may have added between 83 and 132 million people to the total number of undernourished in the world. If this continues, without global assistance and continued COVID-19 vaccination, apathy by low-income and developing countries like Africa, hunger and extreme poverty may end up being the deadliest killer than COVID-19 itself. Africa and other developing countries have very limited resources and weak institutional capacity to support their economies in the face of this global crisis. Poor economic management, corruption, and bad leadership will make Africa and indeed Nigeria struggle for a long time to get out of the economic crisis that COVID-19 has inflicted on the world. Joining us today to further help us make real practical sense of all the English I've been speaking and on COVID-19 on global economy, UK-based real estate investor and entrepreneur Mayowa Oluyede. Mayowa is a founder and CEO of MS Estates, one of the first ethnic high street real estate companies in the county of Essex, United Kingdom. Also joining us from Georgia, United States, is Dr. Ndubisi Ndukwe, a family medicine physician at Northeast Georgia Health System. Dr. Ndukwe and his wife recently started their own private family medicine clinic in Georgia, and we congratulate them for that. That's a huge, big step. We'll look at this issue with my guest on the other side, both in the United Kingdom and the US. When we come back from the split, don't go away. Go back. The world has become more connected than ever before. Every continent, color, race, language, and religion, even government, move towards common goals. We now live in a global village. Here on this program, we bring you global issues to shape our world.
Government can do a lot with tax revenues collected for health and education.
The role of the European Union is to accompany a partner, that is Nigeria, in offering our lessons learned to see whether together we can improve that situation.
The emphasis on education, on vocational training, on the development of entrepreneurship is absolutely critical to its democracy.
The Nigerian government, we would ask them to follow up the investigations that we have had, the evidence that we have gathered, and ultimately we made a number of recommendations.
As we travel the world, we explore these issues of international and diplomatic relevance. Indeed, the global agenda that determine our national and common interests. With me, Tunde Alabi, live on the IT. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the program today. And today we're taking a look at the impacts of COVID-19 on global economy, both on the real estate, on agriculture, general economy of the world. I've got my guest joining us here on the show today. One is a family physician who himself was at some point in the early stage contracted COVID-19 but came out of it very well, and he is a family physician practicing in the town of Georgia. He works at the Northeast Georgia Center, and he's just about a couple of weeks ago started his own family clinic same in Georgia. I'm talking about Ndubisi Ndukwe, and from the US, Georgia. And also Mayowa Oluyede. Mayowa runs one of the first ethnic real estate companies in the city of Essex, but in Dagenham and some towns in the United Kingdom. Mayowa, thank you guys for taking the time to join us on the program today. We'll be talking practically from the real science angle, Doctor sharing some experience, and on the economic angle, Mayowa will be sharing some experience. Let me start with Ndubisi. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program today, and one more time, congratulations on your private family clinic newly open to serve the community in Georgia. Let's start. What is it like now with COVID-19, especially with Omicron? What is it like now?
Well, thank you once again for having me. It's been quite a while. It sure has been quite an uptick in the number of cases in the United States over the past few weeks since we heard about gotten the information about the Omicron variant of COVID. So practically, I am one of the physicians in hospital system that see patients, make diagnoses, run the test through PCR and all that. And we sure have seen increase in positivity, even in our little region part of Georgia. And that sure is a concern because that is putting more strain to our hospital systems as we are having increase in admissions, increase in managing patients in a hospital and an ICU. We have majority of folks who are still not vaccinated, but they, we hear about some hospitals that are that have most ICU patients, and the percentage of them are close to 100% who are not vaccinated. So this is quite of a concern. It is quite of a concern with regards to the general population. Not just those who are vaccinated, but also the unvaccinated, and also for those who have increased clinical mobilities. The more medical conditions you have, we've shown that that kind of complicates the chances of quick recovery in contact with COVID in general.
Yeah, as it is now we're talking about Omicron as again Delta, the two variants. From your experience, we've had reports, South African reports, and we've had a couple of reports coming in from both Australian scientists and the UK, that Omicron has mild tendencies on people who actually contract it. What is your experience like with people who have had Omicron as against people who have had Delta variant?
So as far as we know here in the United States, the Omicron virus, the strain itself, is about 73% of the cause of all COVID conditions, more than the Delta virus. So we don't personally have to screen through our PCR machine whether this virus is Omicron or Delta. It is just COVID. So that, is playing a role. And personally, and I don't want to conclude that this is the conclusion of from CDC or all that, but personally, what I have seen, being honest, is that some patients who are vaccinated, or maybe they have had COVID and then got vaccinated, sure do have milder symptoms. I have seen patients who are not vaccinated, and in the first few days of likely contracting the virus, whether it's Omicron or Delta, are presenting in a worst case scenario. We have to send them to the hospital for further evaluation. So yes, there's chances that we may have milder cases or outcome from that, which we hope for. And it may also be as a result of the increase in maybe in the United States, people getting more vaccination opportunities and getting boosters. But I have seen patients who are positive, regardless of the COVID vaccine they received, second dose or the third dose. The main thing is that their symptoms are way milder than someone else who is not.
All right, before I actually would like to ask a question about the level of vaccination now. I understand among the ethnic groups in the US we had this apathy, but before I take you on that question, on the question of vaccination apathy, let me go to the UK. Let me go to Dagenham now, where I have Maiwa standing. Maiwa, thank you for taking the time to join us, and again let me also congratulate you on the feat you are recording in the real estate sector in the UK. Very unusual for a black man to go so far that you have gone, making impact, breaking through, hitting the blocks and destroying things and building things up in the real estate sector. Tell us, how much impact has COVID had on your business and generally on the real estate in the UK and on the general economy, considering the level of successes you have recorded as an ethnic minority?
Yeah, Tunde, thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here with you this hour. Yeah, COVID is real all over the world, and my colleague from the US just made it known to us that COVID is COVID. We've seen Delta variant, now it's Omicron, and we don't know what next is going to be. But having said that, business still have to continue, because some of the drivers of the economy is not just because of COVID. COVID, we can't do anything about it but to improve on it. And what the governments are doing in the West is to make sure people get vaccinated and also get their booster. Before coming for this event this hour, I just saw in news that 1.7 million people were tested positive last week in the UK with COVID. And obviously when there is COVID, so many things are being disrupted. Now vaccination center is being increased. Measures are being there that people should not go to work, people should work from home. So many logistic problems are going to be there. But people still have business to do. With the economy has to move on, because last year, this year, last year we almost go into a recession all over the world. And the big economy of the world, they have to sensitize their various economy. We have furlough schemes in the US. We have in the UK, over 40 million people were furloughed in the US. About 6 million in the UK, which means there is no way that this will not impact. In fact, the forecast for the economic growth for next year has been reduced. The global forecast for this year was 6.0%. Now for next year, 2022, it's been reduced to 4.9, which means there's going to be a slowdown. That means there's impact on this COVID. The industry that's going to thrive so well in COVID is going to be the medical line, the pharmaceutical, because they have to keep researching the technology. Online businesses are booming, but at the same time, asked me to talk about the real estate. Real estate will still boom. Why? The demand for housing is unprecedented. Why do I say that? Population is increasing. By 2023, the world population is forecasted to be 8.0, which means there's going to be growth. People are still giving birth. And if there's growth, if increase in population, that means we have to provide housing for them. In the UK, we are supposed to be producing 350,000 homes every year. We're not near it. In Nigeria, where you are beaming for, there's about 17 million shortage of homes. I don't have the data for the US, and I'm sure it's the same. All over the world, when population increases, there's need to provide more shelter for people. And government will do their best, the entrepreneur will do their best, everybody, because you don't want people to be living in slums, you don't want people to not to have a place to call their home. So as a result of that, government is even pumping so much money into this sector. When you come to the city of London, you see, and I know the Americans say we're going to turn America to a manufacturing site, meaning that all the infrastructures needs to be updated. That means that industry will continue to see injection of new capital, new funds, and it's the same thing in the UK. Boris Johnson government is pumping new funds to make sure the real estate economy is booming. Also, there are new schemes for first-time buyers, people who have not bought in their lives, how to kickstart them and make sure they are able to participate in this economy. And like I said, population explosion, we have no choice than to make sure that industry do well. So for me, impact of COVID to my business, to be honest, I can't really say there has been so much impact because I still need to provide services for people. People need homes. So the only thing is, people might not be able to come to the office directly. They might be speaking on the phone. We have to do social distancing and all those stuff. But our business, part of our business, moves to online. And any business that can move online, that can still do business, as I'm talking to you now, I'm in the office to be able to speak to you. So business are still going on. It's just that the government is saying any businesses that can work from home. And that's, if you are not interacting with people, it starts to social effect on us. But this money still have to be made. So we're even glad that we're alive. So there's business. We're still happy that there is opportunity to still do business.
All right, Myra, it's good. It's great to hear that good news that your sector is not too negatively impacted because of population explosion, more people coming to the UK, more people giving birth, so more homes will still be required. But in terms of the spending power of the people, how many people are still able to meet up with their mortgage payments? How many people are still behind in their rent payment? How many people are still not waiting on government housing allowance and the rest of it to keep up with their mortgage payments, rent payments? Bearing in mind that COVID has actually stopped people from working as much as they would like to. Many will work 3 times, will do 3-4 jobs a day, probably are doing 1 or 2 jobs. How has this affected the spending power of your clients, people renting homes, keeping up with their mortgage?
Very, very good question, Tunde. You know very well that UK is a welfare state. Yeah, it's a welfare state. It's unlike the US. Yeah, if you don't pay your rent in the UK and you have a reasonable reason to justify that you cannot afford it, the state will come to your rescue, at least for some time. You know, so that part of the market is there. Even though there is COVID, a lot of people, in fact, the data that has been coming out from the UK is such that there have been so much new jobs. People have new jobs. People are working from. In fact, I think my wife, in the last 19 months, COVID started to March. From March last year to now, I think probably she's not working in the office for more than maybe 10 times in the whole 19 months, which means people are still able to do stuff. And those jobs, because government intervention came in last year, people people on furlough, government injected funds, help small businesses, and those funds, the same thing in the US. Government is sensitive to this challenge that if people are out of jobs, there's going to be the unemployment figure will increase drastically. And the Western worlds have been, that's one thing they did for the world, or else we will have been still going through recession. So UK is not in isolation in this as well. Government really played their big role to make sure that our economy is robust, our economy is functioning, and our economy is growing. And with that doesn't mean people will lose their job, or if they lose their job, there's a capacity for them to be trained to some other industry. Government is even giving new industry you can trade, free classes, free incentives to make people come into a new job. In fact, government is even opening the border to say, okay, if you have this skill set, you can come in. About a few months ago in the UK, we had logistic problem. That all the drivers, we have shortages of drivers in the UK. And government came in with, if you have this skill set, you can come into the UK. They've relaxed some of the immigration rules. That if you are genuinely qualified, you can come in. So they are sensitive to this challenge. They want right people in right jobs. And because when if there's a level of unemployment, that's a big problem for the government. And I think as of now, we're still below 3%. So which is great.
Mayo, thank you so much. Let me turn to Ndubisi. Doctor, good to hear what Mayo said about how government has come to the support of the people. Well, unlike what we have in Nigeria, every man to himself, no government support. You can't pay your rent on your own. What is it like in the US? How much impact has COVID had on people either being able to buy new homes, repayment of their mortgage, keeping up with their rent? How much has it had doing new jobs? What is the situation in the US? Tell us.
Thanks for that. And just like my brother said, in the UK, so most of the measures that are very similar in the United States with government support, whether it's the current administration or the previous administration, we see some action. The positive impact of this is increase in workforce that has to do with IT or through media, through online opportunities. So, but of course, you still have the negative impact. Somebody still got to be on the road. People still got to deliver goods. We see a little bit of a increase in inflation recently because there is a low supply. So we have had that affecting a lot of people, affecting jobs when there is a low workforce because people are sick. Then you would see that how that can negatively affect the general population. So when it comes to real estate, of course, it's very similar. There's an uptick. There's an increase in real estate here. The current homes are very expensive, and it is actually difficult to act much expensive when you have to build your own home because the prices have gone up, the supplies have gone up, and there's just some form of scarcity. So that has increased that inflation, but we are seeing help. We are getting help. There are measures to kind of alleviate the burden for the population. It may not necessarily affect every level for an individual. For example, there are measures putting hold on school loan repayments, which that has been frozen until May 1st, and this is great news for a lot of families who still have to repay their school loans, and because of the changes in their work, they are not able to do that. So the current administration have been able to put a hold on that, and that's very, very positive. With regards to the vaccine, of course, the vaccines are free. Whether it's the first, second, or the booster vaccine, they are free. We've seen people kind of getting a bit more open to getting the vaccination. At this time in the United States, we have about 61% fully vaccinated.
Dr. Dubisi, thank you so much. I'm afraid I've run out of time, but let me offer you this 1 second. Please say Merry Christmas to somebody very close to you in Nigeria. They are watching now. I know you are from Abia State. Yes, you are from Abia State. You want to say Merry Christmas to somebody in 1 minute because before I check out of this place quickly.
Absolutely. My siblings, I'm the youngest out of a family of 7. So Merry Christmas to all my brothers and sisters in Abuja, in Lagos, in Port Harcourt. Merry Christmas to my pastors in Enugu and all my friends, CIC, College of Immaculate Conception. Just Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm so grateful. We are doing this together. And what I want to tell my fellow people, and I know I'm not here and I'm not there, but please, when the opportunities are available, do all you can to get vaccinated, especially if you have multiple medical problems. Please, you're at higher risk of contracting this to complicate your life. So that's my message to all. Merry Christmas to everyone.
All right, thank you, Doug. Thanks a lot. Mayo, I'll quickly, in 1 second, say Merry Christmas to... I don't know where you're from. I guess you're from Osun State. Mayo, I'll quickly.
I'm from Ondo State.
You're from Ondo State. Say Merry Christmas to somebody.
All my family members are in Lagos. I want to wish everyone, all my family members in Lagos, Merry Christmas. My family in Ondo, in Akure, in Ondo State, wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2022. Also, my church, KICC, Lagos, Nigeria, and TREM, Africa. I want to wish every one of you a Merry Christmas. 2022 will be a great year. So be ready for great things.
Mayo, thank you.
God is going to do great things in our midst.
All right,
thank you today for this opportunity.
All right, thank you so much, Mayo. Mayo from Dagenham in SS, one of the leading estate companies in the United Kingdom, and also Dr. Ndubisi, a family medicine expert who has just opened his own family clinic in Georgia. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us. I do hope your friends and family members have heard your shout out to them. My name is Tunde Labisi. Say appreciation to everyone that has been part of this program, especially my producer and production assistant, everybody in the team. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.